It's been almost 23 years since Anita Hill ignited a political firestorm when she testified before Congress, alleging that then Supreme Court nominee Clarence Thomas had sexually harassed her when he was her supervisor. Since then, while Thomas was confirmed as justice, Anita Hill has been venerated as much as she has been vilified for her landmark testimony. Obviously, there is the fact that they're all men and they're all white. There's also the race issue. I mean, there are some people who say that had you been a white woman, a blonde white woman, things could have been different. Do you think that's true as well?
I think it could have changed some of the dynamics, but I think it is very clear when you have a senator like Senator Simpson saying something like sexual harassment is crap, then they weren't willing to deal with sexual harassment of women, of any woman.
Right.
But I do think that one dynamic that we can say would probably have changed would be the Senator Strong Thurmond from the South, a son of the South, an avid segregationist in his time. I think he would not have embraced Clarence Thomas had I been a blonde female. His constituents, many of his supporters, would not have allowed it.
Vice President Biden was there and he was running the hearings, and you said he did a terrible job of running the hearings. What do you mean by that?
I think he did two things that were a disservice to me. They were a disservice, more importantly, to the public. This is a public hearing. It's there to inform the public. There were 3 women who were ready and waiting and subpoenaed to be giving testimony about similar behavior that they had experienced or witnessed. He failed to call them. There were also experts who could have given real information as opposed to the misinformation that the Senate was giving, who could have given information and helped the public to understand sexual harassment. He failed to call them. Those are 2 things. I could give probably more if I went play by play, but I think people need to understand, because it's about how do we create a fair process.
And you know, many women look to you in that moment and since then as someone who is strong, who was assertive, who wasn't apologizing. And you know, we hear people today saying women should lean in. You know, we hear Sheryl Sandberg saying women should lean in. I'm curious, did you ever waver? I mean, with all that pressure and even that what seemed to be kind of systemic discrimination or discrediting, I mean, did you waver at all?
I don't know what you mean by waver, but I have never retracted, I've never apologized, and quite frankly, when I sleep at night, I can put my head on the pillow knowing that I did the right thing. And I think women are leaning in. We ask women to lean in, and they do lean in, but we've got to remove some of these barriers so that they're not leaning into a brick wall.
When we talk about people and evolving and the change, I mean, you in particular have accomplished so much. You've symbolized so much to so many women. You've achieved success in your career in spite of this, if I can even say that, and in spite of those who are trying to discredit you. How do you frame success as a woman, as Anita Hill? What's success mean to you?
Well, one of the things, I think everybody has to define it for themselves. For me, I am an educator. I love the role of being an educator. One of the things that I say it makes me successful today is that I can expand my audience beyond the classroom. I feel good about that. I can talk about issues of equality generally. A couple of years ago, I wrote a book, Reimagining Equality, about the foreclosure crisis and the role of home ownership and finding a place in the lives of women and their achieving full equality. So there are a lot of issues.
You know, today, women make up about half our workforce, but they still make 77 cents for every dollar a man earns. That is wrong.